Yeah, in the early 1980s, I had an opportunity to work at CBC Radio in Toronto, and those were the days when CBC Radio was even more of a glue than it is now in terms of the national identity of Canada. It was a great honor for me to have that opportunity. I was the host of the national country music show that was on every Saturday night at 7 o'clock from coast to coast and around the world on CBC World Service. And it was called 6 Days on the Road, and we played country music and featured an interview and a guest performance each week by a Canadian working country musician. We didn't just go for the big stars. We had guys that were playing in the bars in Sudbury and in Lethbridge and Nanaimo. We had people from all over Canada. And the thing I remember most about it was I would get fan letters from people like farmers who said they would be out working on their fields at 7 o'clock in the night in Saskatchewan, and they would be listening to my show, and fisher persons from New Brunswick and Newfoundland who said the same thing. So that meant a lot to me that I was able to talk to people all over Canada every Saturday night.
Tell me a little bit about the 12-string Korean instrument.
Well, I was really fortunate to get a Canada Council grant to go to Korea and study with one of he was at that time the world's leading player of an instrument called the kayagum. The kayagum is a Korean version of a 12-string zither that's played on your lap, and there's one of these in almost every Asian country. The Chinese have the chin, the Japanese the koto, in Vietnam there's the dan tran, but the one that I honed in on is one that has nylon strings and it's quite large, and it's called the kayagum, and it's tuned to the Asian pentatonic scale like most of the other ones are as well, and it's played with, you pluck the string with your right hand and you change the intonation with your left hand. So it has a lot of capacity to be very expressive, and it's a wildly popular improvisational instrument in Korea, and it's part of a tradition of Korean music called pansori, which is improvised music that in a classical tradition but with long improvised sections, often thought of as a sort of Korean version of the Indian raga, with which it shares some characteristics, but it's quite different and it has its own set of standards. If anything, I would say it's a little freer than the raga.